afternoon everyone, thanks for joining me again. Hopefully there's not too much wind noise. It's really windy today. I'm here in the Groot Mountains again, the big river mountains in the Karoo. Hoping to shoot a sunset, or at least some nice color in the sky. There are nice clouds, so maybe they will light up. The horizon seems to be relatively clear, so there's a good chance of that. And then also I've got a couple of trees around here, I'll show you just now. Maybe I can get a nice composition out of this. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy my little photo adventure. Here you can see one of the little trees. I need to see if I can build it into some composition. Over that way is the sun. That's where the sun's going to set. And there's another little tree or two here. But I need to walk around a bit and see if I can find a composition without being blown away. This wind is probably, I would say about 30 to 35 knots at the moment. So not fun, but at least it's not cold. It's nice and warm. Well, I'm still trying to find a composition. Not quite happy yet. But the sun is a few minutes still away from setting. So I thought let me just show you the area. What the mountains look like around here. And again, sorry for any wind noise. As you can see, this is now looking towards where the sun is going to set, with a tree that I'm interested in the foreground. But I'm just going to sweep around. That's more north. You can see some nice clouds in the sky, some interesting mountains. We're now slowly turning east. Some more mountains in that direction. Unfortunately a vehicle in the distance, but I think in that direction also, with a bit of luck, the sky could light up quite nicely. And then on this side here, there's another tree, or actually two trees, that could maybe be used in the composition as well, with a bit of side light. But unfortunately the tree in the foreground is beautiful, but the one at the back is a bit in the way. So I might end up walking around this one and seeing if I can maybe find a different angle where the other tree is not so disturbing. Around about here maybe there's also a nice cactus in the foreground, which could be used as an anchoring point, but I don't know if I'm going to get much color in the sky from this angle. But a really interesting tree. It might actually work a bit better at sunrise, but I'm going to give it a try. Well, the sun is now setting quickly, and so far no color. It's just gone behind a layer of cloud, so that's not ideal. But below that there's an open piece before it drops behind the mountains, the distant mountains. So there's still hope that we might get some color here in the sky. There sure is enough interest in the clouds, and cloud formations are quite beautiful. But yes, I need some light. But I think I might end up just using a cactus in the foreground. Let me just show you what the scene looks like. This is really what we're looking at. I don't know how much you can see on the camera here, but yes, there's towards the north there's some really interesting clouds, and of course the mountains in the middle distance also helps. And then more towards the south there are also distant mountains and some interesting cloud layers. I think the layers of clouds, horizontal layers of clouds, are due to the really high winds. You can imagine how windy it is up there compared to down here. But let me get ready. The sun is just about going to pop below the horizon, or the horizon from where I am anyway. I think this is the first composition that I'm looking at. Quite simple. Just the tree in the foreground, and another tree slightly further to the back, and then the sun just to the left of it, of the tree trunk. It's going to set right there, with hopefully with some nice clouds in the sky. Sorry for the wind noise. I'm sure it's quite bad on this camera. I might end up shooting this in portrait. That might work better, because at the moment, the way it is now, I've got this big empty space on the left hand side without much interest. But let's see if I can make it work. I've got a few more minutes before sunset. Yes, I think this could actually be better. If the sky lights up, if I get some nice color in the sky, this would be a better composition. I'm also going to try and shoot just after sunset in blue hour. I'm going to try and shoot the tree from the other side. Hopefully I'll get some nice blues and pinks towards the east. I can only hope for that, but at the moment no real color in the sky yet. slightly busy image, but I think it's got merit. A nice triangle formed by the cactus in the foreground, and then the gnarly tree on the left hand side, top left hand side, and then the other little shepherd's tree on the right hand side. The only thing I'm going to have to be careful is I was shooting at about 1/10 of a second, and it's quite windy, and I'm probably going to get some movement in the trees, so I think I'm going to push up my ISO a little bit. I still want to shoot at f14 to get front and back in focus, but I think what I'll end up doing is I'll probably go to ISO maybe 320 or 400 even. Let's see how that works out. Yes, I think ISO 400 is better. At least I can get it up to about a 30th of a second. But every now and then the wind drops a bit, and that actually helps a lot. So I'm not too worried about. At least they're not. The trees are very stiff, so there are no small leaves that move in the wind. But sometimes the whole tree shakes when the wind gets really bad. Oh yes, this is actually quite beautiful. I like this. Can do with a bit more color, but the sun is a few seconds away from setting, and then after that we might get a bit more color on the clouds. But beautiful layers. I love layers. Interesting cloud formations, some fluffy ones between the layers, and a whole range of colors. The sun is now officially below the horizon, or the distant mountains anyway, and there's some really nice colors in the sky, anything from deep blues to orange to red, and a few others in between. Yes, it might not be there might not be any foreground interest, but in this case I think the sky more than makes up for that. You don't always need foreground interest anyway. There are a few bushes here in the foreground that I can probably bring out by lifting the shadows a bit in post-processing. I'll have a look at that, but I'm shooting this at a 400th of a second, f10 roughly, and I'm shooting at minus 0.7 stops, just to make sure I don't blow out the area around the sun. This is just gorgeous. Look at that layer a third from the top of the image. It's starting to get a beautiful color now, and it's got beautiful texture to it. And then there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 layers lower down towards the horizon. And then just above the sun there's another layer, and then of course you can see the mountains in the distance where the sun is, and then the closer hill bottom right hand corner. So a beautiful layered image, from dark at the top to brighter to darker at the bottom again. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a frog that just fired up quite close to me. It's still very windy, so maybe you're only hearing wind noise, but the frog is really very happy about the potential for rain tomorrow, because we've got a prediction for rain tomorrow, well actually for the next 3 days, so that should create some interesting skies as well. Slightly more towards the south, this is also beautiful. Again, the colors absolutely make this composition. Let me quickly shoot it before the colors change again. Well, It looks like we're getting a final show here, as hoped for. Look at those beautiful deep oranges with still some blue separating the bottom layers and the top layers. Actually quite nice, and the wind has now dropped as well. I was getting worried that it was going to get cold because the wind was quite cold, and yes, being summer I didn't bring anything warm, so but it's fine, it's not going to be a problem. But I absolutely love this. Just shot a panorama. I hope that's going to come out. I didn't use any panorama heads or anything, I just did it by hand, so with a bit of luck it'll work, we'll see. Look at that, that is just absolutely gorgeous. No foreground interest needed in this case, just the colors in the sky and the patterns and the layers make up for it. It's interesting that we get this beautiful orange and yellows and reds, and then still quite a bit of blue in the sky between the layers. So definitely was a worthwhile trip to come out in this horrendous wind today and see if I can capture anything. Interesting, as it gets darker, some of the colors start to turn a bit more purple and pink, as you can see towards the right of the image, or maybe you can see it on the video camera, but on the still images you can definitely see the colors slowly changing from oranges and reds to more purple pinkish colors, and the blue is also changing to a different shade of blue. But yes, we've got a beautiful bow from horizon to horizon. On the left hand side the clouds are touching the horizon, and on the right hand side as well, but in the middle where the sun set, we've got those beautiful layers of blue in between, which makes it quite spectacular. Just look at that, that's just gorgeous. Doesn't matter how you look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. Well everyone, I think that's it for this evening. The color in the sky is now mostly gone. I don't think my images worked out that well with the trees in the foreground. Well, maybe they did, you would have seen them by now. But I think the images towards the end with the clouds that lit up in the sky and the beautiful colors and the layers, that absolutely made it for me. I'm happy to drive long distances and walk long distances just for a display like that. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you did, please give me a like, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. It helps me to produce more videos. And if you want to contact me for more information on images, or you want to purchase prints or digital images, please have a look in the description below. The details are there. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you watching. Have a great evening or a great day. Stay safe. Until the next video, keep well. Cheers.